Well, after giving his first speech to conference as party leader, I asked Peter Robinson to sum up his vision for the DUP.
I think it's very clear that we've had a very good conference. The mood was good within the conference. People are in good spirit. There was a buzz about the place. We had more delegates than at any previous conference. And the party is in very good shape. The clear message was that we are a party of government, that we want to make progress for everyone in Northern Ireland, that there are some very real achievements for devolution, which I don't think that any of the executive parties have properly published, but that we're a party that's going to be a pushover for no one, that we intend to do business, but we intend to do it in a way that ensures that we have a good deal for the community that we represent.
You say you want to make government work for everyone in Northern Ireland. You highlighted that in your speech, and indeed you went on to say, rightly or wrongly, we are all in this together. Does that not suggest that you need Sinn Féin to make this work?
I think what it suggests is that everybody should be working. The executive is set up in order that there are four parties that would, in a coalition, move forward in terms of the programme for government. I regret the fact that while the Ulster Unionist Party, the SDLP and the DUP have been willing to sit around the executive table, want the executive to meet, have agreed papers that should be going before the executive, that one party is refusing to allow that executive to meet. That's bad for Northern Ireland. It's bad for partnership.
And it's been the case, though, since you took over. I mean, did you see or anticipate at any stage how Sinn Féin might change tactics?
Well, I think it's deplorable that they should, by strategy, decide that they are going to punish the people of Northern Ireland in order that they would attempt to achieve a political outcome for themselves. That's not the way to do business, and it's certainly not the way to do it with the DUP. We're not going to be pushed around in that way. We will not lower our standards because people are threatening us. If a deal is done on policing and justice, it will be done on terms that were set down in our manifesto and which are acceptable to our party.
But is the deal close? For instance, later on in your speech you went on to say, in a few weeks' time, I hope that we will be able to bring a package of measures to the Executive and the Assembly to get through the present difficulties and to build for the future. I mean, when you say we in that sentence, what we do you refer to? Is that the Office of First and Deputy First Minister?
Well, it's all the ministers in the Executive. There is no more cross-cutting issue than agreeing a package of measures which would alleviate hardship for the people of Northern Ireland during this economic downturn. Ministers have already been meeting. I hope Sinn Féin joins in with those. I certainly, along with Martin McGuinness, have met a wide range of people who have been involved in the credit crunch issue. We've met the banks, we've met the lending institutions, we've had the opportunity to meet with the energy regulator, we've met with the energy companies, we've met with business, we've met with the trade unions. So we have put ourselves around, we've tried to understand what the issues are and what people think is the right way forward for us.
And yet you say, I hope that in a few weeks' time, so that presupposes that you expect things to be resolved, that the Executive will be able to meet.
It presupposes that I hope that it will, yes, I do hope that it will. I'm an optimist.
That is a note of optimism, then.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have been working at these issues and we will continue to work at these issues. I want all the outstanding matters to be dealt with, but I don't believe that anyone should be putting themselves in a position that unless our outstanding political issue is dealt with, we're not going to do business for the people of Northern Ireland. That's not the right way to behave.
Well, just spell it out for us again then. You say you are an optimist. Is the glass then half full?
Well, yeah, I believe that we have been making progress over the past number of months, and not just on the one issue which seems to be the forefront of the interests of the press and the media, but on a wide range of issues which are outstanding and which are important for the people of Northern Ireland.
Will we see perhaps a timetable, or some, not even if not a timetable, perhaps a sequence of events as to how things might unfold in policing and justice?
Well, I think that there is already a sequence of events. We know where we are at the present time. We know where we have to be if we are to have the devolution of policing and justice. And we know all the steps that have to be taken in between. So there is, if you like, a process. What we don't have, because we cannot guess all of the parts of that process, how long they will take. Some of them you can. I could tell you now how long it would take for us to get the legislation through the Assembly. The Secretary of State, no doubt, could tell you how long it would take to get the legislation through Westminster. The Assembly's committee could well determine how long it might take them in order to deal with the issues in their work plan. However, when you come to matters such as getting an agreement with the government in terms of the finances, an essential element of policing and justice, Because the last thing that anybody in Northern Ireland will want to have is, if there is an increase in expenditure on policing and justice matters, that the money has to be taken away from health or education or some other area of government. So nobody can put a time on those kind of issues, nor can we put a timetable on the extent to which we will be able at an early stage to get the support of the wide community in Northern Ireland.
You say this progress has been made across a wide range of issues in these talks. Has progress been made, for instance, on the Irish language, or indeed controversy surrounding the maze?
Well, the party committed itself to looking at a strategy for minority languages. And I think we should remember that there are probably some other minority languages where there would be a greater need for progress to be made, because people are more reliant on the issue of minority languages. For instance, the Chinese community, the Polish community, the Portuguese community in Northern Ireland, where they may not have the same ability to fall back on the English language. So there are a number of issues in terms of language, but we've made it clear there won't be an Irish Language Act, but we are looking at a strategy for minority languages.
Are you looking over your shoulder on any of these issues? For instance, are there people on the right in your party who do not want you to move on anything, particularly policing and justice?
I don't think that you would have got that message from the conference today. There is a very united party, a very strong feeling that we are going ahead together. Everybody is on message. Everybody's got the same views as to how we move forward. It is, after all, our policy. It is our manifesto. That's the basis upon which we move forward and nothing else.
Your Deputy Leader, Nigel Dodds, spoke before you. He rallied the troops, so to speak, before you got up to speak. He mentioned the issue of Europe, funny enough, and indeed you mentioned it too. Only the DUP can top the polls in Europe, you said. Will it be Nigel Dodds who will be there as the candidate topping the polls then for the DUP?
Well, the party will select shortly its candidate. The executive or the officers are meeting in a very short period of time, and they are deciding to put a date for the selection meeting to take place. We will look at all of the applications that come forward for those who want to stand. And I'm pretty sure whoever we have as our candidate will be a winning candidate and will top the poll, not just for unionism, but I hope for the whole of the country.
Well, given that you put Arlene Foster, a minister, into Fermanagh to fight a council by-election, we can expect whoever goes to Europe will have to be a heavy hitter. Nigel Dodds has to be the front runner.
Well, I think if you looked at our party conference, you will see that we have an awful lot of heavy hitters. You will not have seen any party conference with more talent on display than at the Democratic Unionist Party. So there's a very wide choice for the Democratic Unionist Party to make in terms of having a European candidate. And of course, Nigel would be a good candidate to have, but Nigel would also be a good deputy leader to have here in Northern Ireland, where we can use them in finance and other places. So those are the kind of decisions that we have to take.
And indeed, you hinted that there might be a vacancy soon in the DUP team at the executive, because you said you'd like to see Edwin Poots back on the team. Now, assuming you don't want to sack one of your ministerial colleagues, surely that suggests whoever's going to Europe must be one of the ministerial team.
No, it doesn't suggest that. What it suggests was that I will do as I indicated that I would do, and that is that we would have a changeover after 18 months, so that we give other elements of the party who have very considerable talents and much to offer the opportunity to show what they can do in office as well.